Donald Trump has a Secretary of Commerce named Wilbur Ross. Wilbur Ross is very, very rich. He's previously claimed a net worth of up to $3.7 billion. Forbes has been able to, I guess, verify just under $3 billion of that alleged net worth previously, and that's what they've published. He is so wealthy and so connected to so many areas of American industry that he was specifically asked during his confirmation hearings, how are you going to avoid conflicts of interest? And he said, quote, I intend to be quite scrupulous about recusal and any topic where there is the slightest scintilla of doubt. You can only do that if you fully disclosed your assets. And we've now learned that Wilbur Ross did not fully disclose his assets. Assets, that is. He pulled quite a move between Election Day and Inauguration Day, where he moved about $2 billion in assets into trusts for his family and completely left them off of his financial disclosure report. How do we know if there are conflicts if the assets have been moved and not been disclosed? How was this uncovered? Well, this is just so funny. Forbes has been covering Wilbur Ross's wealth for a very long time, and they realized all of a sudden that he used to say he had $3.7 billion, and now all of a sudden he has less money. How did that happen? They went to Ross's staff for an explanation, and it turns out that Wilbur Ross once said, oh, no, you know what I did? I moved the assets into trusts for my family. And of course, you're not allowed to do that. If you do that, you're supposed to still disclose that. And the reason is that there are complex and sophisticated ways to move assets into trusts where they will eventually come back to you. And there's a few different ways that you can line this up. And any of us can tell that if you move specific assets into a trust, number one, you know what they are. So it doesn't really prevent conflicts of interest. We saw that happen with Donald Trump as well. And number two, if you set it up so that those assets will eventually come back under your personal financial umbrella, it really doesn't do much to prevent you from acting in the interests of growing those assets. Now, Wilbur Ross's staff is saying never happened. Nope, he never did that. There was a misunderstanding. He never did that. Forbes is being very clear about this. Forbes says that they went to Wilbur Ross, and this is just amazing. They said, you know, Wilbur, we're going to have to remove you from the from the list of the 400 richest people in the United States because you used to have this amount of wealth and now you have this amount of wealth. And Wilbur Ross says, that's fine as long as you put in that the reason why my wealth has gone down is that I put my assets into a trust. The guy is so enamored with the idea of being this wealthy person that it got him to admit to wrongdoing. And you can say, well, Wilbur Ross did nothing wrong because after all, once he transfers the assets, they're no longer his assets to disclose. That's wrong. Federal law specifically says if you're an incoming cabinet member, you need to disclose not only the assets that you currently own, but also any that produced income during the current and previous calendar year, even if you do not own them. So federal law said he was supposed to disclose the $2 billion. Who else? I mean, this is an understandable thing, right? I almost forgot $2 billion the other day as well. Come on, who believes this? And I actually, this story makes me question why Wilbur Ross is even working for Donald Trump. $3.7 billion, almost 80 years old. Can you really line your friends' pockets that much as Secretary of Commerce that it's worth leaving this incredibly cushy lifestyle to be subjected to this level of scrutiny? Maybe you can. Maybe you can, and that's why he's doing it. But just remember that Republicans made Jimmy Carter get rid of his peanut farm because of a possible conflict of interest. This is $2 billion, and nothing will come of it, even though we keep hearing about drain the swamp, right? It's never been filled more quickly than under the Trump administration. Discuss this or any other topics from today's show with us at davidpakman.com/REDDIT. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.